Welcome back. I'm David McMurray here to tell you how to make haiku and how to help your students write haiku. As an English teacher, of course, I like to refer to books. Books help me a lot when I'm teaching haiku. There's lots of different books you can use to pick up season words, to pick up the classic masters, and to look at new haiku. But today I'll read from this book here. Let's see what we have to show. Something your students, whether they're junior high school or senior high school, might like to hear is some classic haiku. So I found one in my book by Kobayashi Isa. He was very humble. He lived in a rural village, but when he was a teenager, he grew up in poor conditions in Tokyo. Well, he was a teenager writing haiku. That could be interesting as a teacher to tell your students that they too, as teenagers, can write haiku. This following haiku I'll try to read in Japanese is about the spring, and it must have been written in maybe a humorous way, a funny way. Perhaps he was counting the age in human years. So let's look at the spring moon. There's the same spring moon that Kobayashi Isa saw, and he wrote in Japanese, Tsuki no kao toshi wa jusan sokoro kana. I translated that into English because I'm teaching haiku in English. So looking at his haiku, I would say, let's put in maybe 3 syllables. The moon's face, near 13 years old, I should say. The moon's face, near 13 years old, I should say. Tsuki no kao toshi wa jusan sokoro kana. So my first point about teaching your students is try to refer to books. Try to find something from the classic haiku. Japan has 350 years of history of excellent haiku. That's a nice way for Japanese students or foreign students studying in Japan to be introduced to haiku. Now, the reason why I enjoy the classic haiku is because the classic haiku always have season words. So if I was a teacher, I would maybe start my first class talking about season words. And I might, for example, put on the board a chart. And an easy chart showing 4 different sections. And then of course I would say to my best student in the classroom, what are the 4 seasons here in Japan? And my student would say, well, it's spring, it's summer, it's fall, and it's autumn. And I'd say, that's right, that's right. Then I would say, well, you enjoy playing baseball, don't you? You say, yes, yes, yes. I say, well, baseball, when does baseball start? We play lots of baseball, but when does it really start? Springtime? Okay. So I would put maybe for the spring, I would write a baseball. And then I might say, well, what's a sport that we can play in summertime? And maybe this bright student over here would say, oh, the Olympics. Yes, the Summer Olympics. Okay, but what kind of sports at the Olympics are you interested in? Oh, swimming. Yeah, okay, swimming. Swimming is good sport. So I'm starting to build a kind of a season word organization. And students are starting to think, and they might have many different kinds of Olympic summer sports, and they might have many different kinds of spring sports. But then I would say maybe when I was at high school, so when I was a teenager, I enjoyed playing American football. And do you know, football in America begins in September. So American football, which is a little different than soccer, of course, begins in September. That's a good example for my Saijiki. And of course, winter, yes. So already the students are giving me ideas, and they're saying, well, they enjoy skating. So I've gone from classic haiku to different season words. And you might say, well, these are very new season words. Masaoka Shiki, who's our modern haikuist, he brought us the word baseball or yakyu. Masaoka Shiki, when he was in Matsuyama or when he was in Tokyo, he would write haiku about baseball. And the students would say, they would see the connection between famous Japanese haiku and these different words they have. So for me, that's an important way to start in teaching haiku. After, I might say, well, we have these wonderful season words. Let's now put them into an expression. Let's talk about them. I can still remember the first time a young student at Aiko Gakuen in Ehime, he raised his hand after I put these up, and he said to me, "McMurray Sensei, I go swimming with my father." I said, "Oh, that's great. Where do you go swimming?" He says, "I go into the Seto Naikai." "Oh, the inland sea. That's very beautiful. And when you go swimming with your father, what do you do?" He says, "Well, I see fish." So I said, well, that's a beautiful image. That's a beautiful moment. I can remember that moment from 20 years ago when that child told me about it. And this is what he came up with. Let's see if I can still remember his haiku. So here's what he came up with. This was his expression. Swimming in the sea, small green fish between my legs. Oh, that was his simple view, but that's actually a haiku. This haiku, it's all on one continuous line. So we can change that and we can put it onto 3 lines and help him. So that student has been able to talk to us. And let's arrange these words onto 3 lines would be good. So swimming in the sea, small green fish. Well, how about maybe, most important is there, how about the small green fish? This is 1, 2, 3 syllables, something easy for this junior high school first year student. Small green fish. And we can put up here his verb maybe, swim between my legs. How's that? Swim between my legs. That's 5 syllables. So you can see I've cut off the ing. Often we take off this verb form and make it more clear form here. Small green fish swim between my legs. And then we need to have something here. So he's with his father and he's at the sea. I think I would finish his haiku with simply at the sea. Small green fish swim between my legs at the sea. What I've told you today is that maybe it's a good idea to begin with the Japanese classics, translate them to English, show your students the importance of C's and words, and then try to have them themselves come up with a story about spring, summer, fall, or winter. When they have enough words, you can arrange them on 3 lines. Thank you very much for our time together. Today I tried to show you how you can teach haiku to your students in junior high school or even senior high school. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you again.